Welcome everybody to your 10 minutes of Eve. I am Casuality, and if you like this format, please remember to leave a like and subscribe. And if you are the other guy, well, do your thing. Last time we talked about scanning as the first part of exploration, and today we are going to do some hacking. My heron here is circling a relic site container, and we have got an Astero on grid as well, who will likely take the other containers from me. But as long as I'm hacking this container, it's mine, unless he bumps me out of range of my relic analyzer module, which has a 5 kilometer range. I don't have to be afraid of ganking, because an Astero is worth much more than my heron, so it would be stupid of him to shoot me, and he would not be able to get the loot before Concord blasts him, and in Highsec the results are not worth a conflict anyway. So hacking, whether you're doing data or relic sites, oh, he walked off, very fair from him, is a minigame which looks like this. The general concept is we are an intruder in the system, a virus, and we are trying to destroy the system core. Once we do that, the container will open and we can loot its contents. So we can see the whole grid, but we don't know where the system core is, and we can only see what's directly before us. When we open, or when we click on a node, as you see, a small number will pop up, in this case a 2, which means that the next utility system, the system core or a data cache, is 2 steps away from us, meaning it would be somewhere in one of those nodes, 2 steps from our current position. To explain what we can find, I will quickly switch over to the wiki of the Eve University, and here you can see what one can find. So we have the system core, we have protective modules, which are those, and we have so-called data caches and utility modules. The small numbers we have just seen only indicate a system core, utility subsystems, or data caches. So only positive results, but they will not make us aware of the defensive subsystems which are trying to prevent us from hacking this container. A data cache can either contain, as it's written here, a defensive or utility subsystem. It's a 50-50 chance, and only if you click on it again you will get the results. Usually those are better left alone and should be opened only as a last resort. Utility subsystems have positive effects. Either you get a self-repair, which you can use instantly, which will boost your health. I've got kernel rods, which reduce the health of a target system, so of a defensive subsystem or of the system core. You have shields, which will protect you from the next 2 attacks of a defensive subsystem you have engaged. And the secondary vector is a kind of distance weapon, which will reduce the health of a target system in the next 3 turns. But you have to use this effect, you have to click on undiscovered nodes, and then it will do its thing, but you don't have to directly engage another system, a defensive system, so it cannot shoot back, so to say. Those systems, defensive subsystems, and the system cores are or have different difficulties. In HiSec you will only encounter very easy or easy system cores, and only these defensive subsystems where you have firewalls and antivirus programs. A firewall has high health and low attack power, and the antivirus has low health but high attack power, and they increase in potency in the medium or hard versions, which you will find in low and in nullsec. And there you will also find the other systems here mentioned on the right side, the restoration node and the suppressor module. Just for information, the restoration node will boost the health of one other defensive subsystems which you have already discovered, so which is visible on screen, and it will randomly select that system, and the suppressor will reduce your attack strength, so your attack power, as long as it's active. So these two are primary targets in every case, but they only can be found in low and nullsec. Okay, so I have talked about health and attack power. The Eve uses other names for that. Here we have your virus coherence, which this is your health, and you have your virus strength, which is your attack power. And those versions those values are modified by the skill level, and your ship. So the scanning frigates give you a bonus to not only to scanning abilities, but also to relic and data analyzer virus strength, so attack power, and this is fixed. This does not scale with level. Then you have your modules, which also give boni to virus coherence and strength. Base value is 40, and this is the total value here. So modified by ship skills and also by your hacking or archaeology skill. Plus 10 virus coherence per level, adding 30 points. So, and the same is true for all the rest. So let's see whether we can find a utility here. I activate the self-repair, and even though it says repair, it increases my health even though I did not take any damage. And here we have a firewall, and if I left click it, I have the first shot. My 25 virus strength will be subtracted from its health, then it will shoot back, and with the next click I will destroy it, and then it cannot shoot back anymore. So this is quite important. And then we have the so-called rule of 6, which means if you open a node like here, which is surrounded by 6 other nodes, the center node should be safe, so there should be no defensive subsystem in this particular spot. So if you have several of those in a row, you should go along those lines, it should be safe. And if it's not, if you encounter a defensive subsystem here, then it means the system core is in one of the adjacent nodes. Okay, another firewall, and here we have the system core, and we destroy it, and then we loot it. So this is a relic site where you mainly find salvage materials, tech 1, tech 2, and also some other good stuff. In data sites you can find decryptors, you can find data cores, you can find skill books, and yeah, you see the value. It's about 200k from one node. It can be better, it can be worse. Everything is possible here. Generally speaking, of course, high sec as the least dangerous is also the least rewarding, but that's true with all of EVE. If you progress to low sec, null sec, or wormhole space, you will find much larger grids than this one, twice as large, for example, but the principles remain the same. So here, for example, again we have the chance to navigate along those rule of 6 parts, but yeah, here we are blocked. I usually try to find ways around the protected systems where possible. And attack those protective systems only if I have to. Unless, of course, you encounter a restoration node or virus suppressor in one of the more difficult hacking environments in null or low. Well, that should be enough to give you a general idea of hacking, and therefore at this point we are finished with this episode, and I would be happy to see you again next time.